Lap Battle of Bristol is about to begin. You wonder why we call this place Thunder Valley? You're about to find out, because the Thunder is headed out of turn 4 to the green flag.
Looks like they've called off the green flag here.
They're going to have to get a push truck or something.
NASCAR has called off the green flag because the 49 car has had a problem over in the turn. That's John Andretti. His car has stalled over at the very top of turn 2, so rather than NASCAR very quickly making an adjustment so there would not be a safety issue.
Yeah, there's no way they could start the race here. We had the car stalled up in the top groove. NASCAR heads up there, just kept the cars from going green. That could have been a mess here if we'd start the race with that car sitting there.
Andy, a lot of times as a driver, your steering wheel, you're going to pull it off and reclock it for the start. But in order to do that, a lot of people like to pull up out of the way. Now, he might have hit the kill switch on his steering wheel, and he's fighting trying to get that car refired right now. That could be what the problem is.
You can see John's right hand on the dashboard. They're trying to flip those switches back and forth, and now you've called to the pits. They will call the safety crew and wrecker out to give him a push and try to get him going. Well, everything happens at Bristol, even before the green flag. We got cars having trouble up on the banking.
We have our first caution before the race went green.
While they get the 49 car fired and back in position, we'll take a quick break and come back with a green flag at Bristol, Tennessee in just a moment. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, normally in golf you get a mulligan. Not in motorsports, but we're going to get a mulligan here on the green flag because of the 49 car stalling the ignition panel, we're being told. They had a problem with the 49 of John Andretti, and he has gone to pit road where they have the hood up there working on that car. Now this time, the safety car, the Chevy pace car with Brett Bodine aboard, will pull away, and a pair of Dodges will come out of turn 4 and lead them down finally for the green flag at Bristol, Tennessee.
Side by side, nobody's getting out of shape yet. The track looks good, and Casey Kane's jumped out into a big lead right now, Jerry. He has really cleared Juan Pablo Montoya and has set sail.
That's how fast it happens here in Bristol. 15-second lap speeds of 120 miles per hour, and they are 2 and sometimes 3 wide. As they said, we have never seen that here before.
This is great to see that this racetrack is so racy. We've never seen this. These guys right off the start running 2 wide. Usually they're just fighting for the bottom of the racetrack, just trying to get in single file line and get right on the bottom. But here they're just searching all over.
Guys, every time I've started this race, and if I wasn't on the front row or on the pole position and I'm marked on the outside, I would always have my spotter cutting deals with everybody else. Hey, tell the guy, let me to the bottom. But you don't see any of that right now because these 3 lanes are racing, and these drivers are just loving this stuff right now. No rooting and gouging yet, but trust me, it's going to happen.
Got a glimpse of Jeff Burton. He's one of the drivers that a lot of the experts said you should keep an eye on tonight.
He worked this top groove last night in his Busch car to perfection. He was flying up there, and I'm sure that's what he's going to plan on doing tonight. He's up there now passing around Ricky Rudd here in the 88.
Jeff Burton told a lot of guys, he said, last night I felt like I was at Darlington, South Carolina in turn 3 and 4 where you lay the car right against the wall. And he said it's so much fun because you're so maneuverable here. So look for him to run good.
You already see 3 wide racing off that turn 4. Matt Kenseth going around on the outside.
The ticker across the top of your screen, the green shows the drivers who are right now in the chase. The yellow shows those that are on the bubble and are hoping to get in. Remember, only 3 events remaining, 2 after tonight, California and Richmond, before the chase to the Nextel Cup actually begins.
The drivers have all told us the car does not handle near as good as last year's car did, the older car. This new car tomorrow's got about half the downforce of the other cars have had, and they just don't grip to the track as good as they used to.
And downforce is not such a big deal at a short track like Bristol, but the car also has a higher center of gravity, so it makes the car want to roll over into turns more, so it does handle a little worse than the old car.
Our in-race reporter, Carl Edwards, now making a move in the 99 car, going by David Reagan at his 4th position. Edwards now in 3rd spot.
Now, if you remember one thing about Carl Edwards, he's been the best all year long in the concrete racetracks. What's the reason? I don't think anybody really knows the reason. Every now and then you come up with a good setup that you like a lot, and Carl seems to do good in these concrete tracks. But even he told us, as he was an interested reporter earlier, that, hey, he need to get some lap under his belt and find out what it's going to take. But he loves this track so far.
How about this guy right here in this 42 car, running right behind Casey Kane in the 9? We just knew that Juan Pablo Montoya was going to be good on road courses and some other places, but would you think Bristol he would be running second right here early in the race?
A year and a half ago, Juan Pablo Montoya was turning left and right on the world's greatest Formula One circuits all over Europe, and now he's battling NASCAR's finest in a great fashion here on the high banks at Bristol.
Well, guys, Juan Pablo Montoya's been used to driving a car with a rear wing on it, whether it's an Indy car or a Formula One car, and now he's in a stock car with a rear wing. You got to believe that's working to his advantage. He knows how to manipulate the car and absolutely understand what a wing does.
That's the only thing that's similar to the cars he's been driving. These cars are so much heavier, so much bigger than the cars he's driven, but they do have wings.
Jeff Burton pretending his car has wings on the sides because he is flying up through the field. He made a move a moment ago underneath McMurray. Jamie McMurray in the 26 car. Here comes, speaking of making moves, here is the 5-time winner, the 24 car of Jeff Gordon, who is the winningest active driver here, and not far behind him is the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who started back in 17th position.
Yeah, Dale Earnhardt Jr., he needs to make up some points. He's just hoping that Kurt Busch has a bad day, maybe blows in engines or has a big problem, because he needs to catch him. And the only way he can catch him if something like that happens. Alan?
It's interesting to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. running on the bottom of the racetrack here early, Rusty, because he and his crew chief worked on their car running the high lane yesterday. Tony Eury Jr. told me this afternoon, expect us to be rim riding all afternoon. Jr. can fly up there, yet he's running low right now.
Great story, Alan. We'll watch that 8 car on the bottom of the racetrack. And as you saw a moment ago on the left side of your screen, the change for second position is Carl Edwards. Looks like a man on a mission. He just slid right underneath the 42 of Montoya.
Yeah, I see the 8 car Dale Earnhardt Jr. working the bottom, but you see that 4 car Ward Burton move around him. I don't think it'll be long before you'll see that 8 car back up in that top groove.
In the early laps at Bristol Motor Speedway, 500 laps of racing action. Only 18 are complete. Ryan Newman, David Reagan, Juan Pablo Montoya, Carl Edwards, and Casey Kane is the guy they're chasing. Casey Kane trying to get win number 1 here in 2007. The ancient Colosseum of Rome, where gladiators battled centuries ago, to the current concrete Colosseum at Bristol Motor Speedway. Glad to have you with us here. NASCAR Nextel Cup Series of Bristol, presented by Pennzoil. Lap 26, Casey Kane's the one they're chasing, and they're starting to mix it up. Back in the pack, heavy traffic here now for the leader early on.
Well, right now the leader, Casey Kane, he's running down Kenny Wallace and A.J. Allmendinger at the moment right now. And it didn't take long for these guys to really catch everybody out there.
It's almost like a conveyor belt. You see these cars going all the way around the racetrack. They're strung out all the way around so that everybody's in traffic. There's no clean air out here at Bristol.
Generally, you probably saw some caution flags right now. I mean, these guys are all spread out. They're using all the lanes of the racetrack to race on. And I'm really amazed how high on the racetrack already Matt Kenseth is, right behind Jeff Burton. He's running really high every single lap. Jamie?
Rusty, Matt Kenseth's certainly on the move. He started 12th. He's in 9th right now. And you know, anybody that knows about Matt Kenseth, they know he's cool, calm, collected. Well, this racetrack is so intense. His voice just went up about 4 octaves, asking his spotter, please tell me if I'm clear, as he makes the move, guys, running around that top side. It's pretty intense in these opening laps.
You see Jeff Gordon starting to explore the top. Now he goes back down to the bottom. Crew Chief Steve Letarte told me today that Jeff only worked on running the bottom of this racetrack. But if you have a good car, you can run the high line. There he goes again. So that's their mentality here. Bottom very fast for us. We think we can win down there. But if we need to run the high side, if that's working better, we can.
Heavy traffic for the leader, the car number 9, pardon me, Rusty, that is Casey Kane. Now, that's how quickly you've been there. You understand what he's looking at right now and the troubles and the concerns he has.
Well, the concerns the rest of them have right now, that the rest of them got to pick up the pace, or else Casey Kane's going to get around outside of them pretty quickly. You don't want to go to a lap down this early.
Well, Casey's got problems of his own. These guys are 2 and 3 wide in front of him. He doesn't have a lane to pass them. He's just going to have to follow until he gets an opening.
You know, we heard Jeff Burton talk earlier about his spotter. He's so dependent on the spotter. The seats in these cars are very, very tough to see out of nowadays. The side supports go down the side of your head. You glance over. On other racetrack, it's okay, but this particular track has got so much banking on the exit of the corner, guys, you can't clear yourself. You're really relying on the spotter to help you.
Let's ride along with our Wrangler telemetry, looking at Casey Kane in front of this 99 car of Carl Edwards. And Edwards now moves to the inside of Kane in traffic.
It's going to take some give and take right here because these guys don't have anywhere to go. Carl's a smart heads-up driver. I'm sure he's not going to force the issue, but he may take an opening if it's there. But these guys got to work past these lap cars before they can actually settle this.
And as you can see right now in our telemetry, only about 8,000 RPMs. They can't take full advantage of what these engines have put out right now because they're in traffic. So they're actually only running part throttle just a little bit. They're wide open for just a short period of time, and then the rest of it's part throttle and keeping the rear tires biting up off the corner doing that. Dave?
Rusty, what a turnaround for Carl Edwards at this racetrack in this race car. Remember in the spring, he came here in the Busch race and won it. Was so confident about that car. He walked away from qualifying in the car of tomorrow. This car shaking his head saying, man, I don't know what the deal is. This is completely the opposite. Last night, trouble in the Busch race. He didn't run well at all. Tonight, the 99 is hooked up, and the car tomorrow is running great today for Carl Edwards.
One thing this is doing here, these lap cars are stacking up these leaders, and you got these other guys. You see Pablo Montoya in the 42 and Ryan Newman in the 12 catching these guys.
Carl Edwards able to use the traffic to go in front of Casey Kane there. They try to lap some of the cars. That is Dale Jarrett, A.J. Allmendinger there. Kenny Wallace in the 45. By the way, Kenny subbing for Kyle Petty, who broke his hand up at Watkins Glen. Out missed last week and this week. Juan Pablo Montoya hanging tough there, Alvin, in third spot.
Yeah, and I talked with his crew chief, Donnie Wingo, before the race about if he thought Montoya could win tonight, if he had enough experience on these Nextel Cup short tracks to win. He said, yes, he thinks he can win. And he also said one of the biggest reasons that they've all improved together is that the team has made the cars better, echoing comments by Montoya after he qualified second yesterday. Better car, driver with more experience, running well right now.
Let me ask you, Rusty, Mr. 9-time Bristol winner, can Juan Pablo Montoya win it here at Bristol?
If he stays patient, Jerry, he can win this race. If he gets too excited too early and overdrives the car, he can put himself in trouble. Because, Andy, these cars don't have a lot of downforce like we talked earlier. And we saw a lot of wrecks last night in the Busch race going into turn 1 and also going into turn 3 where the drivers would actually overdrive the entries and just flat spin the cars out.
You just hit the key word right there, just being patient and just keeping the car clean, bringing it home. That's one thing he's got to do. He's got the skill, he's got the car, he's got now some experience in these cars, so he can win. He just got to get it to the finish, and that's a hard thing to do here at Bristol.
You know, a lot of these drivers that are, you know, kind of lower on experience from the rest of the fellas, and I'm going to throw Juan Pablo Montoya in on that bunch because he's a great driver. We all know that, but not that much experience in a stock car. They love this car tomorrow because they really feel like it equals the playing ground. They've all had the same amount of time in it, and if they're going to strike, they feel like they can get it done now. And Juan Pablo Montoya really enjoyed that win he had out in California on the road course because of that.
He made a smart move right here. He let Ryan Newman go and didn't push the issue. Nobody's going anywhere. All these lap cars have got these leaders kind of seized up, so good smart move.
Brand new concrete, but it's the same old Bristol trying to run high, run low, but they're still running too wide here. Chasing Carl Edwards, Reagan, Montoya, Newman, Casey Kane, and Carl Edwards trying to get his first ever win here on the high banks at Bristol, Tennessee. We welcome you back to Bristol Motor Speedway. Early on, just 56 of 500 laps are complete. And take a look at our forward lap leaders. Casey Kane led the first 36 laps from the pole. And now Carl Edwards has taken the lead and has led the last 20 in a row with Casey Kane just chomping at the bit right behind him.
Yeah, guys, take a look at it. Jeff Gordon, he's on the move right now. He is right up on the rear bumper of Montoya. He caught him, backed off a little bit, and back up on him. He's got a good line out there right now. He's running fast speeds also.
His car's working good on the bottom of the racetrack, and it looks to me like the guys that have their cars working good on the bottom are able to make the passes. These guys that are running up top don't seem like they can, you know, it's like everybody's up top now. It used to be everybody on the bottom, now everybody's up top.
Battle for second position. The 12 car of Ryan Newman now pulls in, and the 99 car is stuck in traffic behind Paul Menard, the 15.
Seems like when they get up on each other's bumpers, they just can't go because their cars won't handle. They try to move to the top lane or the bottom, choose a different lane. It's not working for them. And you can also tell the guys up front that are about to get a lap down are really up in the wheel right now.
Paul Menard and Jeff Green have been running side by side for probably 15 or 20 laps.
But Dale Earnhardt Jr., he's run one of the fastest laps of the race so far. He's has a real fast car right now. And all he's thinking, guys, I got to get in that top 12 in the chase for the